You can take off from a field using very little power, doing a nice normal runway takeoff. Or if you're in a confined area, you do a VTOL. So you could then take off from your house, which is in a confined area, land at an airport, and all of this is improving your range. Our 100-mile range performance calculation is including a vertical takeoff and a vertical landing at both ends. If you subtract either of them with a conventional, then you're increasing that range further.
Wow, that's
so
cool.
you can choose how you fly this aircraft.
Most personal vertical takeoff and landing aircraft are defined by one capability, taking off and landing vertically. But at Oshkosh 26, I found an aircraft built around a somewhat different idea. Vertical takeoff is available when you need it, but you don't have to spend the energy when a runway or short open area is available. The SkyFly Axe is designed to give its pilots choices. Tell us a little bit about it and where you are in production timeline.
From last year, we came to Oshkosh with our prototype. That's the aircraft that's flying on that poster just there. And over the past year, we've been doing a lot of work improving the design. We've been developing a new motor with a partner in Germany. Generally, we're improving the fit and finish of the aircraft. We've got a whole new interior as well.
The aircraft displayed here at Oshkosh was not yet the production aircraft customers will receive, but it represented the company's continuing development beyond the earlier flying prototype.
Your viewers don't know, the Axe is a two-seat vertical takeoff and landing fully electric aircraft. So yeah, we're doing a factory-built only LSA because we're running a much higher voltage. So our prototype was running a low voltage system. This has now gone up to 800 volts. So we're not allowing home builders to get their hands on that. It's quite dangerous. So yeah, it's going to be a factory-built aircraft.
An interesting design decision can be seen in the four propellers. Instead of rotating between vertical and horizontal positions, the propulsors remain fixed at an angle.
Given the configuration, you can do not only a vertical takeoff, but you can also do conventional takeoff and landing. So it's got a tricycle undercarriage, which means, yeah, you can do a normal runway takeoff, which saves a lot of energy versus the vertical takeoff. If you want to do a vertical takeoff, you essentially just pitch the nose up. So the front two propellers increase in RPM. The nose lifts off the ground. You rise up, hover to about whatever your hover height is, 10, 15 feet, transition into forward flight. Once you're flying on the wing, your power requirement drops considerably. You use about 60 kilowatts in the cruise. In the cruise, it cruises at about 100 miles an hour.
Hover is the most energy-intensive portion of an eVTOL flight. SkyFly's answer is not to eliminate vertical capability, but to let the pilot decide how much of it the mission actually requires. When there's room available, the landing gear and angle propellers allow the Axe to accelerate along the ground like an airplane. More power shortens the takeoff roll. Less power conserves battery energy.
You can use as much power as you want. So with about 100 kilowatts, it's about a 30-meter run, which is about 100 feet. And then as you increase the power, if you use 150 kilowatts, you can get it down to 10 meters, which is about a 30-foot run. So yeah, the more power you use, because of the 45-degree angle on the propulsors, it basically lifts itself through the air.
Okay.
So however much power you put on, it sort of depends how quickly you get taking off.
Okay, so this gives you options for your flight envelope. You can change your flight envelope depending on your conditions.
So if you can take off from a field using very little power, doing a nice normal runway takeoff, or if you're in a confined area, you do a VTOL. So you could then take off from your house, which is in a confined area, land at an airport, and all of this is improving your range. So our 100-mile range performance calculation is including a vertical takeoff and a vertical landing at both ends. If you subtract either of them with a conventional, then you're increasing that range further.
This is the feature that most clearly separates the Axe from the other personal eVTOL aircraft I looked at during Oshkosh. This is a really cool feature that gives a pilot the choice to determine how much energy to use for takeoff and landing depending on how much runway space or landing space is needed. Once the Axe transitions out of hover, it is intended to become much more familiar to a conventional airplane pilot.
Yeah, the stall speed's about 48, 50 knots. So that's when your wing's becoming active. So anywhere between that and your 100 miles per hour, you can happily fly around that. Yeah, the wing configuration, it's got mechanical control surfaces. So in forward flight, you're completely mechanically controlling the aircraft in roll and pitch, which is basically like a normal fixed wing aircraft. We've got a large fin and rudder as well. So that enables you to also do dead stick landings. So if you lose complete power, you can glide and land.
Wow.
As well.
What's your glide ratio?
6-to-1.
Okay.
So it's not the best, but
better than my gyroplane.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, this may be more important than the vertical takeoff itself. If the propulsion system fails at altitude, the Axe is designed to continue flying as an airplane rather than depending entirely on powered lift.
Do you think you're kind of unique in that? I mean, I haven't heard of anyone else having that kind of capability.
I don't think there are any doing that, no.
That's cool.
And I think it's really important. I think from a safety perspective, being able to dead stick land, you know, as much as I want to put as much faith in all of our systems and all of the redundancy we've built in, you can't plan for everything. Bird strikes on propellers, being able to turn the power off and just dead stick it into a field.
Yeah.
That for me is essential.
I agree. Yeah. Now, do you have a parachute option as well?
Yes, you have a ballistic parachute that deploys from just behind the pilots.
Okay.
It's a strap around the main gear, so that's an additional.
So you have a worst case option as well.
Yeah. It's an optional extra for you guys as the customers to choose.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about your plan.
We're doing a PDR, which is a preliminary design review in August, which basically means that we're tying down final design, which then leads us into developing the production aircraft, which is the one that the customers will receive. We want to be starting flying that by the beginning of next year, and then delivering our first customer aircraft in the second half of next year. So Oshkosh next year, we want to be flying here.
What are your production plans?
So we're based currently in Oxfordshire. The first few aircraft will definitely be at our base in the UK, purely because we're set up. We've got a composites facility we've set up. All the tooling's there, just means we can go quickly. But eventually we're going to set up in the US as well. Most likely at the moment that's looking like Florida.
Pricing. So we didn't talk pricing. So
the aircraft is $400,000 base price without options. The options will be things like the ballistic chute, custom paint, custom interior, that sort of thing. We're taking deposits, so we've got 61 pre-orders currently. You can go on our website, skyfly.aero, online, put a deposit down, put a reservation down, get on the list, and get in that order queue.
Okay, sounds great. Well, thank you very much for taking time to talk to us. All right, thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Well, as mentioned, the Axe is not going to be an inexpensive entry into sport aviation, and SkyFly still has some major development and regulatory milestones ahead before customers begin flying this aircraft. This design, though, addresses one of the biggest concerns I have when I look at personal eVTOLs. Vertical takeoff is useful, but it's also demanding, both in energy and in dependence on powered lift. The Axe is being designed to let the pilot use a runway when one is available, use vertical lift when it's needed, and still have a wing-borne landing option if the power disappears. SkyFly's most interesting idea may not be that the Axe can take off vertically, it may be that the pilot doesn't always have to. Now I want to ask you, would the ability to use a runway make you more comfortable flying an eVTOL? I know it would for me. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments below. You can click on the playlist to see all of my videos from Oshkosh 2026, or check out my channel for more pilot stories and fun adventure stories, and I look forward to seeing you again in future Silva adventures.